Hello, my name is Miro, and it's been a moment since we saw each other. Thank you for joining me for another planty, very random by the way, planty video. It's not just gonna be planty, it's gonna get semi-deep, and I will essentially tell you what has been going on in the past month or so. We will get into that today in this video, so I will not get way too deep into that, but I just really needed to sit down and record a video. It's been, I think, 3 weeks since I last recorded, potentially even 4, because all the videos that you saw, the video that you saw the week before this one, so we essentially in real time had a week break. That video was recorded in late August, I believe, and I haven't recorded anything since then. It's gotten quite difficult, and I will get into that a little bit. It's not going to be too much into it, not in this video, maybe in one of the future videos, but not now. I essentially need to get back into plant chores. A lot of plants need my attention. It's been also very frustrating how much attention they have been needing from me, and I have not been able to provide it. But before we start with all of that, we will have like a light upgrade here, or not a very light upgrade, a very positive upgrade to the videos. But before all of that, I was going to show you in this video my Hoya sanguinensis in bloom. It bloomed for the first time, and the plant is, of course, away from me. So this Hoya bloomed for the first time. It has one yellow leaf. I'm not quite sure why that is. Those leaves have been a little bit weird anyway. They're not supposed to look like that. The leaves are supposed to look like this one here with some splashing, but this one just does not have that. And there is one more leaf that kind of looks odd. It sort of has that Monstera carsteniana vibe to it. Don't really know why it's not supposed to happen like that, and I'm not entirely sad to see it go either. But this plant bloomed. You can see, unfortunately, the flower is closed. We have one more bud coming in, so you will definitely get to see it. It opened yesterday, and I asked my friend Carolina, because she bloomed this before me, how long the flowers last, and she said 3 to 4 days, but for whatever case, it only lasted a day for me. It's still quite hot in the room. You can see actually that I'm sweating there a bit. Even though it's late September, I might need to turn on my AC because it's like 27 degrees inside. It's quite hot of Celsius. I will actually first remedy this by pulling my hair up. I was hoping I would make this come back with a nicer hair, but here we are, still enjoying that heat. I do have 2 other plants in bloom. This is not very interesting, I think. This one is verticillata with the black margin that they often sell it as. I just call it Hoya verticillata. And I have one very similar one. This is verticillata from Alea Garden. So you will see them. This one has slightly more yellow flower. Very, very nice. I love Hoya verticillata with this reddish center, and you can just see how gorgeous those leaves are. They haven't always been like this for me, but they're looking really nice now. And then this one from Alea has different leaves. I would say less interesting leaves, but a similar flower, though this is definitely white. And you can just see the difference between the flowers in the 2 clones. This is what I talk about when I talk about different Hoya clones and how sometimes the flowers are different. So you can see these side by side. They grow in the same condition, and one is definitely yellowish cream and the other one is white. So that's about those flowers. We will do a lot of things today, or not too many. I have written down a list of things that I plan to do in day and a half. I don't have much time to record this video. I do apologize for that, but we will get back to some more useful topics. This is sort of like a relaxed way to get back into plant chores. So I was gonna update you on my Hoya sanguinensis. I was really hoping that I will take photos of that and show that to you. I was waiting for today to take photos. That is not gonna happen. So essentially we can scrap that, but I think the rest of them we will do. I have planned about 8 or 9 things to do in this video, and one of the most exciting things is that I got a new camera for my videos. It just arrived today. It is here, so we're gonna unbox it. This is not the box of the camera. I think they put it in like a headphone box to protect it. I have owned my camera for 4 years now, and it's time for an upgrade. The screen isn't working anymore. It's not very good with focus as well. It's quite actually frustrating. And I was really hoping to upgrade to a full frame camera. To those of you who are into camera, you essentially know what a full frame is. The camera that I use right now is Sony a6400. It's an APS-C sensor, which is cropped, which means it just, lets in less light. The photos are not as good as on full frame, etc. And I use it with a Sigma lens. A lot of people have asked how I take Hoya photos, and to make a video on that. Let me know if you're really interested into that, because I could make a video on how I take photos of Hoyas, what equipment I use. Maybe you're interested in finding out how I record videos. I'm not really sure. Some people are interested, some people are not, which is fine. I actually don't need hundreds of people to be interested. I obviously will record a video if like 10 of you are interested. I will do it. But I've been wanting to upgrade for a full frame for a while, but unfortunately this is not a full frame. This is a 6700 that I got, which is one of the newer Sony cameras, but I opted for this one because I already have a lens that I use, which is Sigma 16mm, the one that I'm using right now. And a full frame lens is like $1,000, so we can't really stretch enough for a camera update plus a full frame lens. I do have one full frame lens which I use for my macro photos, and I will continue to use it on this one. But this one was really discounted now, and with the help of my friend Alex, while he didn't intend to help out with the camera, I will tell you what he intended to help out with. You will find out later, but also my patrons, especially Youth of the Walamut, who donated a significant portion of the camera price, I was able to upgrade. So I will open it, sponsor money, etc. I will just unbox it now. I decided not to go for a full frame because it was $600 more. Plus a full frame lens, it would really cost a lot. So one day we might upgrade to that for like some nicer quality Hoya photos, but for the video this is gonna be more than enough. So did I dox myself? Is that my address there? No, it's not. I didn't dox myself, though I really don't care. If anyone wants to stalk me, you're more than welcome to. I don't think anyone would make the trip. It's quite an exciting update. I got it like a day before the discount ends, and Black Friday obviously is not really a thing here. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving because we're not in the US, and I don't think there will be a Black Friday discount, but if there is, it's not going to be more than this right now, because this is 15% discounted, which like for Serbia is quite a lot. That's quite a small package actually. Considering the price. It is $1,400 actually, so it's quite expensive in my opinion, and it does not come with a lens. That's just body only. So here's the warranty, and it's an entry level for people who are into cameras. You will know that's really not that much. I'm very happy to see how this one will do in the video. We will switch to this one, and I can finally stop using my laptop in my videos, because my laptop is right next to me, which takes up a lot of space. I have to have my camera connected to it at all times since the screen broke. And yes, I can fix the screen, and I will, because I will eventually use 2 cameras so we can get more interesting angles. But for that, I will need another lens, and that's not going to be soon. And another tripod, I think maybe from New Year. I think I'm gonna not buy plants for a while here, and I will just take care of the plants that I have, and I will essentially invest all the money into some new equipment. So let's open the camera. Sony packaging looks a little bit cheap, but it's supposed to be ecological. So we get the thing that I never use, the strip around your neck. a larger battery this time. Now I hope this is charged because I would like to continue recording on this one. Also, batteries are very expensive, and I used secondhand batteries, or not secondhand, I used from like a different brand, but those are really crappy. So this time around, I think I'll just invest into Sony batteries. And now for the camera, this is gonna be anticlimactic because it doesn't have a lens on it, which I will put on. Oh, my goodness. Ugh, new tech. So this is the new camera, which has AI. It should be really, really good with focusing, so I expect no more issues. It looks very, very similar to my old one. And a screen. That works. I don't like these flappy things. I'll probably take those off. And then this is the sensor. Essentially, you open this, and this is where you put the lens, which is on my camera right now. Let's see if the battery actually works. There's still some stuff that I need to get for this camera, like some accessories, but again, we're not gonna do that quite yet. How does this battery go inside? And of course, a very, very nice screen. My old camera had a screen that went, or it still has a screen that goes up, so you can't see half of the screen, which is a really, really stupid design if you ask me. So this is much better, and you know, you can also rotate the screen. So it's protected. Let's see if it's actually charged. Okay, so it wants me to do things. English. Blah, 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 I understand. Connect your smartphone via Bluetooth and set... I'm already annoyed. So I'm gonna set this up a little bit and then we're gonna get into the video because I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, I seem to have set up the camera. How does one turn off? Okay, so I will switch the lenses. It needs to be charged a little bit. By the way, this is my macro lens. For a lot of you have asked, actually. It is a 70 millimeter, slightly dirty, Sigma 2.8 DG macro lens. It's a chunker, and it does even extend. So I'm just gonna mount that on the camera for a moment, but I'm not gonna use that for video. It's not very suitable for videos. It's quite... That's a lot. That's a lot. It's quite big. No memory card inserted. Oh yeah, that's... It's not gonna let me take a photo. I wonder why. Maybe because I don't have a freaking card. Miro, you interesting person. Okay, we are currently on the new camera and I hope that looks decent. I'm not really sure. I haven't done anything to the settings. It's mostly all automatic for now, and then we will mess with the settings when we see how this turned out. Anyway, we are now going to start with the plant chores. I do have to say that I think that I potentially overestimated myself, which is not a shocker to anyone who has been on the channel for longer. I want to deal with paradisea, repot one philodendron and update you on 2, and then kind of go through all of this here, which I don't think we can do that. What we need to do now is deal with the cuttings of my... Something cracked. Well, let's hope it's nothing important. We will deal with my Hoya paradisea cuttings, and essentially I will tell you what has been going on for the past weeks, 3 weeks, I'm not really sure. When is the last time that I turned on the camera, but you did see me essentially the week before the last one, 2 weeks ago. You have seen me here, and it's not a nice story at all, so trigger warning. I don't know, it's not funny at all. Actually, it's quite sad, and I have not been feeling that positive for the past 2 weeks, which is why I decided not to record a video, because I am not really into faking stuff. I don't want to come on here and pretend that everything is great when it is not. And it has nothing to do with plants as well. However, first we will look into my Hoya paradisea. You have seen me repot this plant in my video where I'm sort of taking care of my grow tents, which still need to be taken care of. I haven't done much with those yet. We will continue. It is something that needs to be done, but currently I would like to get all of the things that I see immediately, so things in the cabinets, etc., taken care of, and maybe then we can look into the tents. Really, the biggest one is the worst, and then the smaller ones I think will be less of a problem. But I've been postponing that for several reasons, because I want to, number one, record videos on that. Number two, I need to buy a whole bunch of supplies, and clearly I do not want to spend the money on that, so I bought a camera. Because I'd much rather get something useful. I mean, pots and stuff is useful, but you know. By the way, this is my old camera here. You can see this is what I've been using, not with this lens. This is the original lens that I bought it with. It's actually quite similar to the old one. It has this cage, which I need to purchase for the new camera as well, because this one, of course, doesn't fit on the new one. And then the microphone goes here, and I can attach stuff around, etc. So it looks very similar, but it's much more different. This one is like smart AI, and also I notice showing my pores and wrinkles much better, which I'm not really sure that's an upgrade, Sony. There is actually a filter to smooth my skin out, but once again, I'm not about faking. I'm 32, so if I have like pores and wrinkles, you know, subscribe so I can afford Botox. Oof. Ow, that actually hurts. Anyway, still works. The only thing that doesn't work is the display. It lacks some things that I really want to have in a camera, like in-body image stabilization. So when I go out to make a vlog, which is not that frequent, I don't have shaky, terrible footage. But also when I record in the room, B-roll, if I want to do a plant tour, now we can do that with the new camera. And I don't have to suffer with my phone, which can take okay video, but it's better to do it with this. Anyway, we are going to keep this. I need to buy a new tripod, and I want to get a different lens for my camera, so I can use this one here or whatever, so I can actually get two angles, because this is a good angle, but soon I will have to sort of put my camera down a little bit so you can see me repot, because, you know, it just cannot capture both of these things. Anyway, also much better with focus. This is supposed to be like AI and etc. Where shall we start? We shall start with my Hoya paradisea, which is, again, what I got into. My Hoya paradisea, I have repotted that about a month ago, and it's one of the plants that you have seen me work with that has not done really well. She did well before, except for me accidentally cutting a long vine. But after the repot, which is suspected will happen, the roots completely died. All of them. Not a single root was left. And that is essentially what can sometimes happen when you transition from pond to organic. It doesn't always have to happen. My Perictai, perfect. AH041, perfect. Not an issue. From what I see, some of the other ones, I think I repotted Joy, Ricardo, those are doing great. Elephant, maybe we need to cut that one too. We'll see. That one doesn't look hot, but Paradisea definitely looked the worst. And it's been a month, and if the plant doesn't really start to hydrate, it's time to cut it. I mean, even before a month, you know, give it 3 weeks. And if it's not hydrating, you know. So I have here a bunch of paradisea, which you can't really see, but it's like in water. I have some cuttings. We have lost some leaves. These have been hydrating overnight, and I will essentially see if some of them plumped up. I don't think so. I think these are needing more time. I have some in my old terrarium here that have been here overnight as well. These have plumped up a little bit. These have been essentially all very dry. So what we are going to do is we are going to reroot all of these, put them in a giant prop box, and I will have gazillion paradiseas. I don't have so many of these that look good, so we'll see. I also did cut when I was doing that video. You saw me take a couple of cuttings. They have rooted. I was gonna gift one of those to a friend, but since it's looking like I might be without Hoya paradisea, I think I'm going to tell her I have a smaller cutting for her that I could give to her. Or if some of these start to show signs of rooting in 1 week, which is exactly how much time I have, then I'm going to give her that. But here I have, let me just check the count, 6. I have 6 cuttings here that look decent, and all of this that does not look decent. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle. I'm going to lower it a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, and get some plastic pots here. Or not plastic pots, they're plastic cups really, but you know, let's pretend we're fancier than that. By the way, this is another shirt from Youth of the Walamut. This one is super cute. It has a UFO, that cat, and a Bigfoot, I think? I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's very cute. And I also have here a box of some not great looking plants. These are propagations of my serpents and chinquagensis that cooked outside. Oh, sorry, not chinquagensis. No, I don't have any more chinquagensis. That one completely, because it cooked outside. I looked at it one day and the root ball was super hot. It was in shade, but we had extreme high temperatures, so no one is surprised. I really wish I had at least one good-looking plant that is chinquagensis, but unfortunately no. They were not meant to root. So we're gonna look at that whole mess tomorrow, and I still have some plants outside that I need to help them because they really cooked. But don't worry, I didn't put anything that much worthy, expensive outside. Let's start first with this paradisea. I am a little bit sad to be starting from cuttings again, especially since I had a big plant, but on the other hand, the plant did bloom. I saw the photos, I made a video, I saw the flowers, made good photos, made a decent video on it, and you know, it's not the worst that we need to start over with that plant. Some might even say it's normal. I know that Doug always cuts his plants, I think always, or in most cases, cuts his plants once they have done blooming. I will end up in water. Anyway, okay, I think that's good. So, what has happened? I am avoiding to tell you what has happened because I don't really want to be reminded, but also at the same time, that's not going to change what has gone down. So towards the end of August, you have seen in my previous videos that there was this older stray cat, or she's not really a stray, she's a cat from the neighborhood, and I've known about this cat for a very long time. Ever since I went to university, I've known about this cat. She's been around, and she did have an owner, which now I know she had an owner. And, you know, she's been around and about, and she started coming around more frequently last year, and she would stay for an afternoon, sometimes a bit more. Sometimes, you know, there would be like a couple of days where we wouldn't see her. It really depends. So I assume that she still doesn't have an owner, because I actually think I know where she comes from. And while I know that one of the owners died, he has a son. So I assume she has an owner, or I assumed she had an owner. But anyway, she was coming around, I would feed her if she would want to be fed, which is always, give her pets, etc. But nothing much happened. And this spring she started coming around more frequently, to a point where in April I thought, I don't think she has an owner, and we even dewormed her because she looked a little bit bloated to me. And I essentially saw that cats that live outdoors need to be dewormed every 3 months. So anyway, I did that, but still she would come mostly now almost every single day, not for the entire day, but you know, she was an outdoor cat, and also I can't have indoor cats here. It's just the living situation. But she's also not the first nor the last cat that has come from the neighborhood. I told you jokingly, but it's not really a joke. I know all the cats in the neighborhood and they know me. Some of them are nice, some of them are not, you know. Some of them I can't stand, mostly unneutered tomcats. I mean, you have seen from the videos, couple of videos that she appeared in and a couple of times at my Instagram story that, you know, I would always joke that she is always around, you know, poking her nose into my business when she's not supposed to, when I'm trellising or, you know, doing something with the plants. But she, you know, she was always a nice and a good kitty. And she never really exhibited any issues to my knowledge, but in the last week of August, what happened is, I think this was a Wednesday when this happened, so I can't remember the dates exactly. My mom's birthday was on Saturday, which was 24th, so 28th, I believe. She didn't come. She didn't appear that day, and instantly, because anxiety and other things, I was like, something is wrong. And I have seen her prior to that every day for, you know, quite a long time. And she just didn't come, which I thought was very, very odd. And I started to worry, I started to look for her, but she didn't come around at all. And it's not the first time because this has happened, but it has happened a year prior when she wasn't such a frequent visitor. So I now was worried because now at this point she has been visiting pretty frequently. And because it was so hot, I was worried, you know, she's not gonna get her food, she's not gonna get the water. I was just really, really worried for 2 days there. And she came back on Friday in the afternoon, and she came back and she had an abscess on her cheek. And I, of course, immediately started to panic, as you should. I mean, it was very, very nasty. I do have photos. I'm not going to show them. And we took her to the vet because there is no emergency vet. We took her to the vet on Saturday, right away in the morning. And, you know, I was very, very concerned. But they said, you know, this happens. To them, the wound looked older, which didn't make sense to me because, again, she was there on Tuesday, perfectly fine. And I mean, I have friends who have seen her also a couple of days before that who can corroborate this story, right? Who have seen her on my mom's birthday. But they made it sound like this was a, you know, wound that's been going on for God knows how long, which is absolutely not the case. So we took her to the vet. She, you know, she was so good, which made me cry additionally because I'm like, she's so good. She didn't fight. And, you know, we checked her for a microchip. She wasn't microchipped. By the way, you can see how dry these are. So let's test that autofocus. I don't want you to look at me, Sony. I want you to look at the plant. I should probably change the settings here, but anyway, there is a product something setting. Hold on, my hair is coming out of my chopstick. So these are quite dry. I don't have much faith in these, but we're gonna give them a go. They deserve a chance, I suppose. Of course, I'm losing peduncles left and right, but we'll try. Hopefully they can root again. I just want to check. I don't see that anyone is rotting, so I will just check the bottoms of those stems because they've been soaking for 24 hours, which I don't think I've ever done a soak of that length, to be quite honest with you. So I'm just gonna check the bottoms of these stems. And this is just regular room temp water, nothing added. I used to add algamic to this mixture, but honestly, I think I was too lazy this time. So anyway, we went to the vet on Saturday and, you know, they were like, yeah, it's not a big deal. This happens. She was not chipped, microchipped. What they did tell us then is that she has a big incision on her belly, which indicates a C-section or that she has been neutered, or spayed, which I did assume because all the other cats in the neighborhood are not, so I get to hear lovely tomcats all the time. And they were just never interested in this cat, so I assumed one of the reasons why I thought she had an owner is because people typically don't neuter their pets here, or their cats. They don't spay them. And, you know, it's just how it is. To continue with that story, we took her to the vet. They were like, you know, it's not a big deal. It looks worse than it is. And you know, at the end of the day, I do think they are good vets. They are the best that we have here locally. And they said what we will need to do is we will need to give her antibiotics every single day for 5-6 days. So we took her daily to the vet for antibiotics, for painkillers, you know, for them to clean out the wound, etc. And she's been quite good, but her mood kind of went up and down. And at one point of the process, towards the end, she seemed to me that she's quite down. You know, when she returned with that wound, she didn't want to eat, and she didn't want to eat after the first vet visit, which we assumed is because of the state of the cheek, which was terrible, by the way, as I said. So that's why I'm not showing it. And so I started to puree the food for her because she wouldn't even eat the soft food, the canned food. So I would puree that with some water, and she was happy to eat that. I was happy to puree that 4 or 5 times a day for her, just so she can get her nutrients in, because cats really need to eat, every single day, you know, fatty liver disease, etc. And I was happy to do that, of course, not an issue. And things were looking up. Things were looking up, but once we were done with the antibiotic shots, what essentially they said is that I was going to have to give her antibiotics via the syringe every single day, twice a day for 5 days. And I did, so that's like 10 of them, I think, right? I only did 2 doses, and I never know if I'm having a real concern or is it anxiety, but I did call the vet not because it was difficult to give that to her, she was really resisting, but I've been noticing for a couple of days, and I actually did bring this up, and they said it's because she's old, she's, you know, they estimated that she's ancient, and I think that she's at least 16 years old, because I saw her first when I was at the uni, and that was in 2011 when I enrolled, and she was already a big cat then, so she wasn't a kitten. And anyway, I raised the concern. They said it's the age, and because of the antibiotics, you know, etc. But when I started to give her antibiotic via the syringe, number one, she really didn't like that, but, you know, tough luck. There are many things we don't like and we have to do, but that part didn't concern me. What did concern me is she stopped to eat. She stopped to eat, and I was, again, instantly concerned. Same day in the afternoon, we went to the vet. They gave her IV, or actually, she even vomited. And I said, you know, I think the antibiotics that they prescribed are not working. Because, you know, you could have, even cats like people, they can have penicillin allergies, right? And they said to stop the treatment, and, you know, now it's important for her to not be nauseous, not to vomit, and we were just going to continue giving her the injections, essentially. So that happened, and they said if she vomits again next day, then let us know, and, you know, I will be admitted. Next day, she doesn't want to eat at all. I puree the food. I try to coax her with any sort of food. She doesn't want to eat. And she's just being very, you know, very reserved, hiding, etc. And so I called the vet again, and they told me to bring her in. This was around noon. And, you know, they were like, it's really strange. This lady vet, she was really nice. She wasn't the one with the case from day one. She sort of, the day before, she got involved in the case. And I sort of wish she was with me from the day one. Maybe things would have been different, maybe not, I don't know. But she was like, let's do some tests. Let's test her for feline leukemia, for feline immunodeficiency virus, FEV, right? COVID. All of those tests were negative because she was like, this is really strange, because then she saw that another abscess is forming in her mouth. And then we knew this is not anything to do with any cat fights, which again, I said, I don't think she was just not, that's not in her nature. I've known her for a year, not daily, but I've known something about her character, and she was just a very sweet cat, and I was like, I just don't see how this could happen, but I also know that cats in the neighborhood are bastards, so. But anyway, so she ran the whole blood panel. I love how I said that I'm not going to turn this into a whole story, but I am. And they essentially discovered that she is stage 4 renal disease. And the signs for renal disease are unfortunately very subtle until they're really bad. And she was still up, and they said, we will start immediately with daily IV because her numbers were really high. I mean, no matter how you turn it around, whether if you look at renal disease or acute renal failure, her numbers were in the last stage. They were very, very high. And I've discovered some websites, which I will link down below for people who are cat owners who want to maybe educate themselves more. I found this website very, very useful. So the numbers were very high, and anything that you can really do is you can start with the IV for at least a week, and then, you know, it's renal food and some supplements that are supposed to help bind the phosphor from the food. That was the plan. And we did IV every single day for a week. And, you know, day 1, good, not terrible. By the way, I also saw on that website, it's possible to leave in some countries your cat overnight on IV. They can do IV all day and night. It's not possible here. Money, again, wasn't the issue. Well, it was the issue, but my friend Alex, this is why I said, he actually decided to help me out with the vet bills, and I just want to thank him for that. I mean, I didn't ask, but, you know, I made some friends through the channel that have become my friends in real life, and, you know, that I talk to every single day. The good side of YouTube. And initially we thought that, you know, this was for some that treatment of the abscess and just, you know, getting her cleaned up, etc. But it turned out that money went to this IV treatment, and we did that for a week, and progressively her state got worse, and she started to lose more and more strength, and in the last 3 days, or actually last 2 days, she really couldn't get up. So I immediately, as that was diagnosed, she was here in the room, and I took care of her, but she really couldn't even get up. I had, you know, those changing pads, like diapers. So, you know, she couldn't really, I mean, first of all, she didn't go to number 2. She only could pee. And I would make some, because again, food, she wouldn't want to eat food, so I pureed some just plain chicken breasts that were boiled, no spices or anything, and some chicken broth, again, no spices or anything, just chicken bones cooked down, so she can have more water. And, you know, in the beginning, she would eat that even on her own, but then she stopped, so we went the syringe way, and that was going well because they said it's a good sign that she's not vomiting any of this. And so I would feed her via the syringe, you know, clean her with, I have somewhere in the room still, the wet napkin, not napkins, but like wet, I don't know, hygienic napkins for pets. And you know, I would help her daily. And but it got worse and she couldn't get up. And on Sunday, which was, I don't even know what date it is today, so let me just check when this was. And we went for IV that day too. This was September 15th. On September 15th, we went for the IV, and she couldn't lift her head up at that point. But in the day prior to that, her body temp went down to 34, which is not good. 34 is super low. And they were able to get it up. I put the carrier on the heat mat, planned heat mat, with some water bottles, and just to make her really, really warm. And we were able to bring the temperature up. And on Sunday it was 36, which is still kind of low, but like going to the right direction. So I was like, oh, tomorrow it's going to be like 37 point, or you know, maybe 38 even, because again it was really low. But we went to the IV, and I said, you know, can we do the tests on Monday to see if those numbers are starting to drop? You know, she couldn't get up, but I read this sometimes happens because of so much phosphorus in the system, because of all the toxins, exhaustion. She hasn't been eating for a couple of days. She's been getting daily IV, and I've been syringe feeding her, but it's not enough. And you know, I started to give her renal food, but still, it's nowhere near as how much she should eat in a day. But I, you know, was like, this is, you know, general weakness. But I was like, let's do the tests again so we can see if the condition is improving. And we were supposed to do the tests on Monday, and then, you know, continue with the IV at least for another week, which would be the second week of IV. But I don't know how on Sunday night, because she was here in the room all the time now, I just had a sense that she's not going to make it until the morning. And on Monday when I got up, again, I would wake up earlier than usual just to check on her. And something about that day, I don't know, my alarm went off, and I was like, I'm just going to give her more time. And you know, more time, half an hour more, 45 minutes more. I'm gonna stay in bed. And when I did get up, I did see that she unfortunately passed away during the night. So that happened on Monday. I didn't really feel like making a video on Wednesday. I was thinking maybe on Sunday I could do one, but things were really in a mess. A lot of the plants, I haven't looked at my plants in over 2 weeks. A lot of them need to be restarted, maybe even 3 weeks. I was again just completely into that situation. I told you even in a video, previous one, there is a cat situation, but at that point it had been just the abscess. So that was, I think, the last week of August when that video was recorded. And yeah, I couldn't get myself to film. Obviously, we were all very sad. I don't think I've cried quite a lot on Monday. It was just, I mean, I still need to clean off the floors of the snot that fell. Even though she hasn't been here that long, I've sort of kind of knew her from the neighborhood for a very long time. And you know, just the personality that this cat had was very sweet. And obviously I was very, very sad. But yeah, that's what happened. And yeah, I just want to thank, I mean, Alex knows, thank you very much. I don't think, especially the last batch of treatment, which could have been successful, wouldn't be really possible. vet bills really since the IV started, they started to stack up, and the tests and everything. At that point, it was like, €100 per vet visit. But yeah, unfortunately, that did happen. There was, from the leftover money, because I've been wanting to collect for a new camera for a while, and I was actually wanting to return that, but he said, no, just use it for whatever else. And I was like, okay, then it's the channel and the equipment for the channel where this will be used. So anyway, that's the story of why I haven't been here and why there is a new camera, I suppose. And now I will go and water the Hoya paradisea, and then we are going to put it in the box, and hopefully it will root. So I think we will try some B-roll or some montage with that. There's quite a lot of paradisea. And then I will see if I will have time to do something else today, or we are going to continue tomorrow. Welcome to day 2 of the plant chores. We're going to be finishing up in this portion. I got a couple of updates for you, and we're going to repot a couple of plants as well, 3 of them, 2 Hoyas and 1 aroid. We will continue with some lighter plant chores. I think yesterday it got a little bit, too down. And here in the box, I have my Hoya paradisea cuttings. They are rooting. I need to spray this one more time. I also put a couple of plants in a bag in this prop box because they have mites, but sort of to isolate them, I put them here. And the reason for that is I don't have really isolation space anywhere, and I just want to get them out from my room. They were sitting next to my cabinet, and there's no light there, and I'm gonna put this on top of my closet, and there's gonna be more light. So I think this is a better situation for them. There is still not enough humidity in this box. It's not holding humidity very well, and we just need to spray one more time and put a couple of more plants here in the bags. I have paradisea allegedly pink, which I'm also going to put here. That one needs to be rerooted. I think I just underwatered it, so it needs to be rerooted. And Milois andrewsiana, that just doesn't like me. Or I don't know, maybe I can't really grow it well. But anyway, we're gonna deal with that off camera, and then it's gonna go on top of my closet. I currently have like 5 boxes on top of my tent, 4, and then one on top of my closet. So this one, it's It's gonna be a little bit cuckoo, but I think 2 or 3 of those are gonna be moving out next week. So I'm gonna free up, essentially I'm gonna free up some boxes and then fill them up with cuttings. But anyway, we are going to repot my philodendron ring of fire. I got this as a gift and it's gonna go in this hanging planter. I got this from my friend Liliana and she knew that I really wanted this plant and they're really, really cheap right now. It is underwatered and I can see that I think that cost us the new leaf. So unfortunately, I didn't take care of that extremely well, but we're gonna, repot it now and it's gonna be better, hopefully. Yeah, that new leaf doesn't look like it's gonna come out really well, but the ring of fire that I got, again, really, the way that things lined up, the way that the events lined up didn't really allow for me to take care of my plants all that well. And I think, sacrificing one leaf it's fine. So we're gonna fix that today, and then I will repot these 2 subquintupla nervis, not pachiclada, subquintupla nervis. This one, these 2 rotted for me, and you saw that I repotted them, or that I rooted them relatively recently. This one I think is not doing the best because it's still not growing, and I see a little bit of rot on the bottom. This is the inner variegated one. And I don't really know why there is rot here on the bottom. I think maybe, despite there being so many holes, I just think it didn't really drain all that well. And this is cocoa husk. So it really shouldn't be because of the mix. I just really think sometimes when you use these cups, these are just the regular cups, I think because it's so narrow at the bottom, the water doesn't always get out. But on this other one, which is the outer variegated, which never grew for me, this plant grew 4 or 5 new leaves for me, which is crazy because this is the most growth that I got in like 2 years. I got in the last month. Both of these are in my Mills book cabinet. And then I wanted to show you a plant that I got, I think during the summer. I can't remember exactly the month, but this is a philodendron that maybe I will repot. It is in moss. It took some time to root. I got unrooted cutting and the first leaf is completely green. This is jungle fever, but the next leaf is 100% variegated. I mean, not 100%, I guess half of it is going to be variegated. You can see here when I unwrap it, how gorgeous that's going to look. The old leaf did die back while this was rooting. It gave its life for the rooting. So I think I'm going to repot it, even though I recently put it into moss to sort of activate those roots a little bit better. Or maybe I will leave it in moss. Maybe I'll leave it in moss actually, because that's all the roots that we have. So I think maybe a little bit more. Maybe in a couple of weeks we can do something with that. But I do need to water it and put some slow release fertilizer to help it out a bit. But I'm actually super excited about this plant. I've been wanting something with that look, but variegated. I actually got Philodendron radiatum, I don't know if you remember, which I'm a little bit disappointed by. I'm gonna get up and show you the plant because I don't see the variegation in the new growth. And it's the top cutting, but I guess it's not super stable. I don't know, the first new leaf that came out is a bit wonky, and I think that's because it formed while it was rooting, but even the next one, which is coming out now, I don't see much variegation, so I'm gonna go and grab that. Yeah, that looks completely green to me, even though I hear that the variegation comes in with this plant. I just don't see any way that that's gonna happen here. Maybe I'm wrong, let's pray I am. One of the leaves on this one was not looking great when it arrived, and that leaf fell off. But the other leaf, which is variegated, you can see here, I don't know, that looked very promising to me. You can see the variegation there. But then it made this leaf, and I, again, don't really see much going on this one, or at all, to be quite honest with you. And then this is the newest one, and all I see is some damage, potentially from mites, while it was forming, or even thrips. Hopefully not thrips, though I do have thrips on my Gesneriads, but I don't see that anything is happening with this leaf. So that's a little bit disappointing. I love the shape, but I am actually, I mean, what I was looking for is variegation. And I know that like the variegation sort of blends in here, but I think that should be visible on camera, the lighter parts. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess, in a couple of more leaves what that will look like, if it will look any better. If not, I might cut it back and see if we can improve the variegation, or I might just give up. Though honestly, if I look at this leaf better, this ugly new one, the previous one, I think I do actually see some coloration. It's not going to be easy to see on camera, but I think this, with this plant, or what I was told, I didn't actually look this up or verify it, is that the leaf comes in green, and then as it gets older, then the variegation develops more. So I don't know. Maybe it's the truth, maybe it's not. But I do have to say that my Peru variegated, which I will show in the B-roll, because guess what? Now I can do B-roll with this camera because it has optical image stabilization, and I don't have to do it with my phone, which I hated doing. I can just show you everything with the camera. That one, the new leaf, is really, really coming out nicely. And even my Monstera, I forgot the name of the Monstera, I will write it on the screen. The first leaf was completely white, the second leaf had some green, and now we are back to completely white. So I think it's one of those plants that throws you a fully elbow leaf and then a variegated leaf, etc. But what I wanted to show you is also a quick update on one of my seedlings of my Hoya subspecies tenebrosa. And you have seen me show this plant, I think, if not here, then definitely my patrons have seen it. And one of the seedlings has had variegation, and now it's not really visible maybe. Those lower leaves had variegation. And I wasn't sure if it's gonna stick, because one leaf was completely unvariegated, and then we started to get something like this, which is not super variegated, but there is something there. And then we got that, and you can see some variegation on the edges. And then this leaf came. And that is definitely variegated. I can see variegation on there. Hopefully it shows up on the camera as well. So right now I'm looking into making conditions for this plant so it shows more variegation. I think that in slightly less light, the variegation comes out a little bit more. And this leaf actually has a good amount of variegation. The issue is there is some, it's still not deep green, the color of this leaf. I'm not really sure why. But I believe if it were to become deep green, you would see how much variegation there actually is. It's really, really light green in real life. Maybe it doesn't show up so well on video. But anyway, those are some of the updates, and I have one more update, which is on my Congo variegated. These are the only surviving Congos. I have the rootstock of my plant. Essentially, I gifted one of these propagations to my friend. These took a really long time to root, and I left two bigger plants for myself. Those have lost all the leaves. I don't really know why. Well, I do know why, I'm lying. It's underwatering, and apparently not very resilient to underwatering. It just dropped the leaves. I am still keeping the rootstock, but I'm not putting much faith into it. These were in the propagation boxes, and they have finally rooted after like months. And I have 3 of them. So I'm going to grow them out and select one for myself, potentially even the smallest one, because I like the growth pattern on this one best. And I don't mind waiting years and years and years and years and years for it to grow. So those are the 3 ones that we have. Took forever. So that's another update here. I think that's all when it comes to updates that I currently want to share. There will be more updates in future videos. I was gonna deal with this today, but I decided not to. All of these need to be watered before I start to deal with them, so I'm going to do that after the video, and then in the future videos we need to essentially empty this cabinet out and make something similar to the one in the back, but just for Hoyas. All right, I had to turn the AC, so if you hear that, I apologize. It has been very hot in my room in the past couple of days. I don't really know why exactly. Last night it was like 29 degrees, which is crazy. It should not be that hot, but here we are. So I think we're gonna start with Ring of Fire, and I'm gonna put that in my aroid mix. So this will need to move. I keep forgetting things today. Let's get ready here. I will adjust my camera there so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There is just not a good angle when you're a tall person. So maybe that will be a little bit better. Don't know. We need to set up the second cam as soon as possible. So let's just get into this plant. Hopefully the root system is not too bad. But as I said, I have underwatered it a lot. So I'm gonna remove this cocoa, or maybe it's not cocoa, this peat here, as gently as we can. I really should have watered this long time ago. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve the plant. Yeah, as I said, it's been really hard to take care of the plants, which I think I've decided I'm not gonna buy any more Hoyas this year. I have some package coming from Sweden at one point, but I think that's gonna be it. A friend here asked me if I'm going to get some plants because she wanted to get some. I just said no. I had some plans to get more Hoyas this year that I really wanted to order, but I just can't. You know, it's too many plants that are not even that rare. I really need to refine my collection. I need to document my collection a little bit better as well. And then we can start thinking about that. I keep having thoughts about getting rid of one of the grow tents, which currently I don't know how to do because there's just way too many plants and it's not easy to get rid of them. Yeah, these roots are not really amazing. So I'm going to put it in a small pot and see how this will react and if we might need to reroot this plant. We all have to pay the price for neglecting our plants, right? It's fine if you do, but you know, I'm not going to be bummed out that I have to maybe reroot this one because again, it's been a very crazy period. These are just not amazing. But hopefully they're not all dead and he can just recover. I'm gonna actually stop here and we will put him in a transparent pot so I can actually monitor what's going on. I was initially going to put it in this one. I mean, I will still put it in that one, but I will just use it as a cover pot temporarily. I want to monitor the happenings. I don't know, I gifted a lot of my plants and I'm going to gift even more. I'm trying to sell some that I don't need. I'm actually trying to decide what is it that I don't need anymore. By the way, this is my aroid mix. It is bark, cocoa husk, cocoa peat, perlite. But I'm not really sure how to get rid of one of the tents. Honestly, the biggest one would be the best because it would free up more space in the room. But it's also probably just not possible. Maybe I can get rid of the smaller one, 120 by 120 centimeters. I don't know, we'll have to see. It's not even the amount of plant chores that's what's the issue. It's that this room is really small. This camera lens makes it looking much bigger, but like, I can't, like, my hand is not even fully extended and I'm touching that ratsta. Same here. Here, that's like it. This is the plant space. The plant space here is the main grow space and then 3 grow tents and then some space behind you. But like if I had to estimate, it's maybe 3.5 meters like this wide and maybe 2 meters, 1.5 like this. And that's all for 500 plants, or maybe even more. So that's actually the issue, growing in a small space. If I had more room, physical room, and not have everything so close together, I think it would be much easier. Like, I really love getting other plants too. You've noticed me getting begonias and gesneriads, etc. I'm not loving that the gesneriads get the thrips, but hey, Hoyas get mealybugs, which we've been struggling with entire year, by the way. So this one is done. It's a beautiful ring of fire. Hopefully it will feel a little bit better. He will get a watering after this video. Like, having begonias, having epicenias and other plants has really made me excited. And it's not that Hoyas don't make me excited, they really, really do. But species like common species like Filisone, Callistophila that I've bloomed, they don't really make me that excited. And even if I bloom something new from the same complex, for example, species Tanya's, which I bloomed many times, but it's actually out of the tent now here. I don't actually even know why it's out. Can't remember. But you know, if I bloom this, I'm not so excited because this blooms exactly like Callistophila and Filisone. Minimal difference, if any at all. And there are so many plants currently on the market that everyone is excited about, and I'm just like really over them, like species Acha, more species Tanya's. This is really not a good idea. Hold on. It's just not making me excited, you know. Those plants are not making me excited. I really don't get it. Like, I get that people love the veins and the veiny look, but like, you have so many Finlaysonis and so many people that are trying to pass off Finlaysonis clemensiorum. I see you. I don't even think that people are doing this on purpose, or maybe they are, I don't know. But I recently saw someone ID in a Hoya identification group of 100% Finlaysoni as a clemensiorum because it had a clemensiorum look, which I don't really know what clemensiorum look is, but okay. I don't know, I think I'm just really frustrated with the hobby. I think that's the issue. But I still love Hoya, obviously. I had a Hoya acuminata in bloom recently, and oh my gosh, it is the best. And millions of similar plants that I'm looking really, really forward to blooming, and I can't wait. But honestly, I don't think I need like 400 of them. I don't know what to tell you. Let's repot a little bit more. So we have subquintuple nervous. I actually want to see what's up with the roots here. Like, yeah, these are definitely rotten. This hasn't been draining properly. I can see that now. It's been staying wet, so I'm gonna chop some of those roots at the bottom. Not a lot. It's definitely not the reason why this plant isn't growing. I don't think so. Why is this? Okay. This one also was tough to save. It lost a lot of the roots. Of course, in pawn, but I'm not going to get into that topic again. Let's just trim the ends there. And a bigger pot is not going to necessarily be an issue. It's going to help with the drainage, really. And my mix is really well draining this other one, which I have shown many times, but it's bark, cocoa husk, a little bit of moss, and pumice. It's better than cocoa husk on its own. I have just decided, like, I need to do so many plant chores. I need more lights. These plants in the back, they're not receiving enough light on the bottom. The begonias, they're not really growing that much. They're surviving, but they're not thriving. They're not, and it's not like me not knowing how to grow them. It's just generally not having enough light, which is fine. And I was gonna do so many upgrades with the light. I actually have a folder where I wrote down everything that I need, how many more lights I need, how many more pots, bamboo trellises, and it came out to be like $700 to cover everything. And now I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna find uglier and cheaper ways to fix my problems. Like, I will do uglier trellises and I guess have less streamlined collection of pots. I wanted to get more black pots. Actually, those I can get because they're super cheap. I was gonna do more pots like this for my Mills bow, because I'm moving all of these Hoyas there and some thin-leaved Hoyas here, but it's gonna cost to do that. But I think like the first thing that I can cut on is the bamboo trellises and just do some wire ones. It's not gonna make me super happy because it's not as nice looking, but hey, we are gonna save the money. So this one is looking great. This one literally did not grow for, I don't know, 6 months at least. So we need to treat it. I don't think it's the mites. I really think this is a root issue. Just constant root issues with this one. This one is really looking up, and I'm so happy because I do love both of these. It's just that one of them loves me a little bit more. I'm not going to remove cocoa husk on this one, and it's just things that fall off naturally, which is going to be probably none because this is a tight root ball. I'm just going to see how I can make that fit here. And we're essentially going to leave it at that. So it's a super easy repot. Push it down a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I'm just not really looking into expanding my collection or investing any more money into my plants. It's a lot of cost. And yeah, I think I would like to invest into other things like filming equipment and focus on starting another channel, which I don't know if I mentioned here. I know that I mentioned it to some people. I'm going to start at least one more channel. It's not going to be plant related. This channel is staying up, no worries. I'm still going to talk about plants, but you know, it's just a bit diversifying. It's sort of like, you know, when you turn your hobby, which was growing plants, into your job, then you still need a different outlet. And all of my time is really focused on growing plants. That we really do be needing a different outlet here, and I think that can be just exploring some other topics on a different channel for starters. I think I will do some Hoya prints for myself. I have, or not just Hoya prints, I have some plant photos that I would really like to frame, so maybe I will make a video out of that, you know, printing and framing that and decorating my room with it. So this is the second one finished. I think essentially that is all that I wanted to do. Again, I really wanted to trellis some lacunosa here because they are going to go into my Mills bow and they can't be hanging, they need to be trellised. And I wrote mealybug hunt, but we're not going to do that. That is just going to be a bit too much for this video. We need to wrap it up, sort of, and yeah. Okay, it's time to check out, check away, check in to a mental hospital. It's time to finish this video, to wrap it up. I'm sorry this video is a little bit of a downer, but again, I am not into pretending things are the way that they're not. I don't think that I'm a clown that needs to be constantly, you know, super cheerful. Of course, you know, you make a channel, you make videos to cheer someone up or to make people think about some other things. You know, it's entertainment at the end of the day. And perhaps we have not today risen to that call of entertainment. So probably wasn't as entertaining, but I also feel it was important to get going, to start and to get going. And the next one will just be easier. I still hope that this video was somewhat enjoyable, and you know, we got a new camera, so that's pretty exciting. Can't wait to make some photos. I see a Hoya here that desperately needs my water, and I just like, why do you want me so much? Why are you obsessed with me? I'm going to see you next time in the next video. I don't know if it's going to be on Wednesday or on Sunday, maybe some time in between. I don't really love Sunday uploading schedule anymore. I prefer Wednesday, but I don't think I can make a new video for next Wednesday because I need to record another one for Patreon, edit, etc. So that would be a really crazy tight schedule. So maybe Friday or Saturday, I don't know. I'll see, maybe Thursday, we'll see. I hope you had a wonderful week. I will see you in the next video. Let me know how the camera looks. We definitely need to do some setting changes here. Play around with it, so that will be interesting and maybe jarring for you in the next several videos as you see me in different lighting and coloration situations. But hey, get used to it. You know, no one's a filmmaker here, except maybe some people in the comments who are, I mean, they probably left by this point. If any filmmakers joined the channel at one point, they have left. Anyway, have a wonderful day. See you in the next video, and bye-bye. I would like to take a moment to thank all of my patrons for their incredible support. A super massive, like the most massivest of the massivest thank yous to Youth of the Walmut. Thank you so much for your extremely generous contribution this month, and just thank you in general for your continued support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Amber Clear, Anne Margaret Moon, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, Anna P, Ann C, Anochka K, Aspen Drake, Betsy, Binge Me, Brett Noble, Candy Taft, Caring, Catherine Molina, Connie Pagano, Daniela, Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Deborah Violet, Dealey Heredia, Diane Sikorsky, Edith W, Aaron Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen M. Mortal, Farah, Ferdianto Satiel, Catherine Moss, Gina Geiset, Gina Radovic, Go Green Tropical, Grosset's Kyle, Heather Oppenkamp, Hoji Scott, Yana Griffin, Jessica Chia, Jonas Bayer, Hjort Larson, Joshua Davis Riley, Jovan Denot, Kara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Callie Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Ellen Bergley Mooney, Lisa Mary MPLS, Lucas Erchevisky, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Marina Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michael Curley, Michelle Heron, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grun Roos, MJW, Moa Edmond, Nelly Yang, Niha Basu, Nicole Maroney, Nguyen, Nita Macy, Odette, PJ Plan Druid, Rachel Peterson, Sandra Cornelia, Sherry Kumar, Sophia Rian, Stephanie H2O, Tessa Martin, Stia B, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Wendy Rossman, Xenia Green, Youth of the Walamut, Zaira Rivera, Zordarama, and Zlokop Niponi. A big thank you to my $3 patrons, Angelina Farnan, Kilon Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden Corlett, Catherine Parsons, Lindsay Ann, Mary H, Monica Wykers, Nella Nerdy Kathy, Saig Zera, Rebecca C, Renee Church, Ringlov, Sheila Casper, Tangwat Nasir Cool, Wendy Foreman. And a thank you to my $1 patrons, one anonymous patron, Alice Borrelin, Aquila, Brandon Pacheco, Couture Helvetica, Emilia Bronson, Jamie Arsenault, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Lauren at Tugboat Plants, Lorian Subramaniam, Luzmin Fernandez, Neely Spicer, Olivia Chinmuller, Pacific NW Plant Lady, and Tracy the Eyebuilder.